Am I the butthole for calling my husband a dick? Updates. I had a convo with him. He said I'm not pulling my weight because I didn't job hunt this week. I was cleaning the house instead, and once I get a job we will divide tasks more equally. But until I go to work, I get to lay about the house and take naps, so he doesn't see why he should do more because that's unfair as he has to go to work all day. Also still waiting for an apology. I communicated I wanted one for hurting my feelings. Original post, I, F33, and husband, M37, had a baby 5 months ago. He really wanted kids. I was on the fence. However, I am the one who does 99% of the baby stuff. Asking him to do something is like pulling teeth sometimes. He keeps making jokes like he doesn't need to do stuff, he has a wife for that, or he can't do something, he's holding the baby. But when I have her I'm expected to do everything? So earlier I was talking about sleep training, how if dad does the check-ins then baby doesn't expect food, so he make a joke about how he'll just give me one of his t-shirts so he doesn't have to do anything. I lost it and said, why do you have to be such a dick? I feel like he makes these jokes at my expense, constantly. They're kind of demeaning and hurt my feelings. But whenever I say something back I'm so mean. Anyway, he took his things and is now sleeping on the couch. I went and said sorry for losing my cool and trying to explain how constantly making chauvinist jokes since he got home had resulted in eventually the last straw. But he is ignoring me. Am I the butthole here? Edits. I did want a child. I was on the fence because of everything I'd have to give up, not because I didn't want kids. I did want a kid eventually, OAD, it just happened a bit sooner by a year or so than planned. Husband does help out with some housework, i.e. unpacking dishwasher every morning, or cleaning on weekends. And he helps with bath time with baby at night. Not the butthole. Ask him if he would like his custody split, because if he keeps this crap up, you are leaving him. One baby is enough, you don't need him acting like a child on top of it. And for goodness sake, when you wind up leaving him, get a proper legal custody agreement. Him saying that original poster is so mean for having a problem with him blatantly disrespecting her is so childish. You're right, Steve. You have a God-given right to be insulting to your wife and I humbly apologize for expecting to be treated like a person. Can you do me a favor quick and put that in writing for the judge? This. He's being purposefully passive-aggressive so he can set you up as the bully and guilt trip you. Don't fall for it. He's definitely being a dick. Not the butthole. I also noticed that he removed himself and pouted on the couch, probably ditching any daddy babysitting. Yep. I would have taken the baby to him to deal with. Went through a rough patch with my partner when ours was 4 months old. So I'd stop mid-argument, and leave the house, or head to the bedroom with a book, for a couple of hours. In that time he had to watch baby. I'd often start running a bath, tell him the bath was on, and that he would have to feed and bath her. I did this because I didn't want to have to her crying for me, so he could try and use it as a way of showing how the mom is clearly better at parenting the dad, cause that's some lazy arse bullcrap. He started to do more, when I began leaving him alone with our daughter every time he refused to help. Also, I did leave him for a few days in the end. Realizing he would lose his family really woke him up to how selfish he was being. We now have monthly couples therapy, which helps our communication, and our relationship is so much happier now. My parents have been together since they were 14 and are in their 50s now. They love each other, and my dad is fantastic at being a dad, and they regularly go to couples therapy. They went through a rough patch when both us kids left for uni and my dad said to me that being in the therapy, even when it's rough, really helps because at least he knows they both still want to make it work. Sounds like you're an excellent parent and partner who's worked really hard. My husband never got it until we completely separated and subsequently divorced. The kids were 6 and 4 by then, and he still wasn't really lifting a finger much. Anytime I tried to get more help from him, I got labeled a nag or a bitch. F that. We left. He learned how much work kids are during the 2 days a week he actually had them by himself. We also got back together and remarried after. Wow, what inspired you to give him a second chance after divorce? And how did it go the second time around? He really changed. We did a lot of work because we love each other to death, and he's not a bad guy but just had no self-motivation. Our personality types are so different and I'm self-motivated and work a lot, whereas he would get complacent in crafty jobs or not going back to school. He'd kind of veg out on his phone or video games or TV a lot. We created a lot of boundaries and rules for round 2 of marriage, and it helps us a lot call each other in when either of us is sliding back into behaviors that aren't conducive to a happy, healthy marriage. Fortunately, we're best friends and both fought hard to get back together. Obviously we still fight and argue, and there have been times each of us has wondered if getting back together was a mistake, but it's a really good marriage overall, I think. That was a smart thing to do. It was 30 years ago and I wasn't wise enough to put my foot down, or maybe just too tired. I became a doormat that was expected to do everything. It messed with my health. Possible suggestion: list everything that needs done on a daily basis, and a weekly basis. Let him know he has to do half, let him know no more jokes, do not apologize for him being lazy, he needs to be shamed, so let his family and yours know how little he does and his horrible attitude. Get a maid and let him know no more boys' toys, as it comes out of his expenses, since he won't do anything. Or he needs to sell one of his toys to pay for them. And finally, counseling. It will get way worse if you don't do some or all of the above. Not only is he not respecting you, your child will lose respect and you will lose respect for yourself. Trust me, it happened to me. Think tired, sick and depressed, as that is your future if you don't lay down the law. Some good husband training tips. Oh my good God, when people call a father watching his kid babysitting, I puke in my mouth. My dad did that when I became Assad. Wife and I picked him up on it at almost the same time. He said there's not really a word for a man looking after a kid. Parenting. That's it. Hey, I'm super proud of you for everything you do, by the way. Being a stay-at-home parent is a much harder job than people think, and I just want you to know you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, are they, though? They might be raising the next Jeffrey Dahmer for all we know. My fiancé was on the phone with his mom saying our youngest, almost 2, was hanging out with him while I went and did whatever. I didn't hear what she said, but he replied, "Mom, it's not babysitting when it's your own kid." And don't forget that he's being sexist too. Better than that, if it's legal where original poster is, record that crap. Record the insults, put-downs, digs, snarks, insinuations. Be mean. Make him listen to his own damn words. And if he objects, say, "You made me listen to it." You don't know how many times I wished I could have sat down the personage my sister married and made him listen to just the viciousness he unleashed in any random 24-hour period. Edit to comply with Rule 1. You must actually be onto something here. If it fails, can the divorce layware cringe over it instead? Exactly. He is acting like Trump and he sounds good at it. Yeah. Original poster is Sue. Meanwhile, Father of the Year sits on his ads saying stupid stuff to her. He probably went to the couch to make her door all and say sorry. Op should take back her sorry. He don't deserve it. Not the butthole. Especially when he was the one who wanted kids. Absolutely not the butthole. Take the apology back. And while you're waiting on the straw that breaks your back, so to speak, or just the ink to dry on the divorce papers, start throwing his own excuses back at him. Can't make dinner, I'm already holding the baby. Couldn't do your laundry, I was busy holding the baby. Didn't carry the trash to the outside bin because I have a husband for that. No time to make that appointment, baby was crying loudly while I was holding them. No, I don't have to take the car to shop to have it checked, that's what my husband is for. Rinse. Repeat. Ad nauseum. Op. Make sure you are on birth control. Use 2 kinds at least. He wanted children, but doesn't want to actually take care of and raise them. Probably to trap her so he can escalate his abuse. The statistics on the onset of intimate partner violence back this up. Pregnancy is a dangerous time with an abusive partner. That's a good way to put it, and it wasn't even original poster who really wanted to have a child. I'm not saying original poster didn't want to / regret having the baby, but that the husband was pushing it from what I understand. 1 baby is enough, you don't need him acting like a child on top of it. I know that quote would probably add fuel to the fire, but the resulting burn would totally be worth it, pun intended. Also, Op's husband may be the type of husband who wants a stereotypical family, a wife who does everything, and a child to show that they are a big happy family. From what I understand, original poster had a daughter, and I wouldn't want a daughter growing up with a father with that mindset. It will really harm her future relationship with men. Lots of problems will develop for the daughter in the future for having a father like that around. I can't stand that term daddy issues. I feel it places the blame on the child for the father's behavior. I prefer to call it conditions of worth projected onto you by your parent. I really like this replacement way to refer to it, definitely will be using this in the future. It wasn't even original poster who really wanted to have a child. The husband was pushing for it. When men like this claim they'd love to have a kid, what they really mean is they want to play with a kid from time to time, and hand them back when it gets tricky. It's hard to tell the difference between this kind of deluded man and a man who will actually parent. But a good indication is if they have ever actually been responsible for looking after a child, e.g., babysitting. This also applies to women, although the difference is that women don't often get let off the hook after the kids arrives, so they have to pony up quick. This can lead to miserable parents if they weren't aware of the tough aspects before going in. This right here is the best response. Not the butthole. One baby is enough, you don't need him acting like a child on top of it. Oof. Savage. I'm just curious how Op's husband was able to get married, let alone procreate with someone. The butthole marital and parental gems are such a man deterrent. Exactly. He can either learn to do his share of the work now, or do 100% of the work every other week and F off. Not the butthole. Why are you apologizing? He owes you an apology. I would have left him on the couch so he can think about all the hard work you put in. There is nothing funny about someone who uses jokes to belittle you and has misogynistic views. I would suggest couples therapy. It works wonders. Seriously, I am so tired of women apologizing to men for upsetting their bad behavior. Original poster replies. This. Rescind you apology. Original poster. Tell him, I apologize to you because you made me feel that my reaction to your laziness, irresponsibility and chauvinism was invalid. It wasn't. You're being a grade ADCK. I have just pushed a person out of me, and I'm currently acting as an all-you-can-eat buffet for a helpless infant, whilst you do nothing to support me. I suggest leaving him with the kid for a few hours if you trust him to take care of it. If not, pack a bag for you both and head over to someone who will support you for a couple of days. Not the butthole. I'm so sorry you're in this situation. Unfortunately, I don't think his behavior is going to change unless he has real incentives to do so, and even then, he's likely to backslide as soon as the pressure is off. I'd make couples therapy an ultimatum. If he doesn't agree, you're leaving. You deserve so much better than this. Really, I'm just confounded thinking about this guy abandoning her in terms of support, and also laughing at her about it. Him, haha, you have to do all the work and I don't have to do any, sucks to be you. Her, that's true, it does suck to me, because you're a horrible person, husband, and father. Him, shocked Pikachu face. He baby-trapped her and is rubbing her nose in it. As a husband and father, I hate this guy. And I don't like to use the word hate. Yep. So what if he's on the couch? More room for mama in the big bed. He could be acting this way because he wants to be on the couch and wants original poster to divorce him, now that he sees how a baby changes everything. But he should be reminded that if original poster dumps him, his less than 1% of the parenting will suddenly become the whole 50%, he should have been doing before. For the love of whatever you consider sacred, use birth control like it's the only thing keeping you alive. Because it might be. Single parenthood of one child is hard, but single parenthood for two is an abyss of despair. It's actually not. It's relative. Being married to my ex with 2 children was an abyss of despair. Ditching him and going it alone was a massive improvement. You'll love this. One of the ADHD people I follow had a whole amazing Twitter thread on this, ended up making merchandise. Web link. Link to merch is good. Link to Twitter thread is better. Edit. Thank you for the awards. This is my most awarded comment in 2 years. Go support Black women and GA voters. Web link. The problem is that many of them do know how to do these things, they just choose to stop cause G Earl L like D oi NGTH at Saintof and T Haby et ter at it. They convince each other that girl fetuses are genetically wired with the burning need to feed men's faces, wipe their asses and be their crap caddy until they die. I guess it's easier than admitting they're really just forcing half the population to choose between cleaning up after selfish, entitled dill holes or living in their filth. They think they do women a favor by treating them like indentured servants. You're a blessing to those who know you. I'm the keychain. I got 99 problems but I can't pick one. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, smiley face, just ordered it. Original poster replies. To keep the peace? Yeah, I think a spot of therapy might be in order. This has been a while coming, really. Keeping the peace from his perspective, you stop nagging him about chores, he refuses to do anything and jokes that that's what wives are for, while you cheerfully do 100% of the work. Keeping the peace from your perspective, somehow he grows up. He realizes how poorly and unfairly he's been treating you. He apologizes, promises to do better, and changes. You are now splitting household tasks and childcare evenly. The status quo is his version of keeping the peace, so I ask you, do you really want to keep the peace where you both silently acknowledge that he's never going to help? This is brilliantly expressed, thank you, purple heart, purple heart, purple heart. I saw this on a post yesterday and I feel like it fits. Women are socialized to deal with being uncomfortable for the sake of others, while men are socialized to voice their discomfort as if it's the responsibility of others to fix it. Individual therapy might be helpful to you, rather than couples therapy. Just an idea. It doesn't sound like implicitly agreeing to be slave while he mocks you leaves you with much peace. The peace isn't kept by crushing one person perpetually so the other can never have to consider anyone else. Not the butthole. He didn't want kids. He wanted the good parts of kids without any of the effort. And possibly the title of fatherhood. Shame he won't ever be an actual dad at this rate. Maybe he wanted kids with her, so that it would be harder for her to leave him. My sister nearly got trapped by a guy like that. It has the added layer of her being child-free and wanting to stay that way. He tampered with her birth control. Thankfully she noticed immediately and started keeping it in places he didn't look. I hope she left him after that. That's a big issue. Oh yeah, she stayed long enough to get moving money then left. Damn, staying with him after he tampered with something that's serious? I would have dumped his ass right there and then, to be honest. Isn't that a crime in some places? I think tampering with medication is a crime in several places. Though, I saw that on Reddit, so, take those words with a grain of salt. I really hope the places he didn't look was in her new home far away from him. This is why women who are on the fence shouldn't have a kid because their husband wants one. This is what seems to happen most of the time. It should be an excited yes from both people. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.